Okay, so today we are going to talk about do not talk too much, but do not talk too little on an interview. So you go for an interview, right? And we know you're nervous. We know that you've rehearsed it. We know that you might have over rehearsed it. We know that your palms get sweaty and it's like it's an audition and you're nervous. We understand all that. However, there are few things. When I say a few, I mean a lot. There are a lot of things that you have to take into consideration when you're sitting in front of anyone, whether it be a panel of people or one person for an interview. You have to find your rhythm. There has to be a rhythm when you communicate. Do you understand? You can't talk too much and you can't talk too little because both don't work for who the person can't make a judgment call. Because if you're talking so much and there's so many words that you can't really understand, and you're looking back down, the person, you see people keep looking at the paper. If you're in an interview, okay, I'm gonna give you some tips. If you're in an interview, one of the first things you need to do is look at the people that you're talking to. Don't do the Broadway for the first time where you're just looking over the audience because they're looking at you. When I interview, I don't write. Everything that I'm computing is good. There's like a little secretary in my brain just doing like this. It computes. So I'm looking at you. So if I'm looking at you and I notice you just glance at me like we're not having a conversation, that's a red flag. For the person giving you the interview, it's a red flag. The thing is, you can agree with me or not agree with me. All truths are true. So it's like, that's fine. But I'm telling you, when the person doesn't look at you, that's body language that I am not telling you the complete truth and I am uncomfortable. Yes, you're nervous, but if you are at the level that we are hiring for, this should be easy for you because this is what you do all day. I have interviewed assistants that it rolled right off of them. And I was sitting there looking at them like, girl, you sound like me. You understand? And it's like it rolls off of them. And then there are other ones that they have to pull from other things. And you see them pulling and you're looking at them and they're talking a bunch. And you're looking at them and you're like, what was the question? What was the question? Because instead of just answering the question and putting your experience or a time that it happened, you're taking the time that it happened, explaining more stuff, bringing us over here, and then the interviewer is like, "Where are we?" And that's a problem. And if you are not looking and paying attention and having a conversation with the people who are interviewing you or the person that's interviewing you, you're going to miss the cues when you're talking too much. When you're talking too much, you'll start seeing people touch their mouth. I don't know why it happens, but I know it does happen. And you know how I know it happens? Because I catch myself doing it. So when the person is talking too much, you'll see the person start, other people will start touching their mouth. They'll start touching their mouth. They'll start covering their mouth. That's your cue to wrap it up or be quiet because what you're doing isn't having the performance that you believe that it's having. What's you This is why I tell you I really don't like not being able to see my audience because it's like, I don't know if you think I'm full of shit. I don't know if you think I'm great, which I am. I don't know what, because I can't see you. So for me, body language is huge. So it's like, I watch to see how my words are landing. And if they're not landing well, because I'm just talking and talking and talking and talking, when You just asked one question and we got like 13 other questions. You're sitting there going, oh my God, are they're gonna answer like this for every question? And you start to lose your audience. No matter how much information, or not information, not how much experience you have on your resume or that you can spout out, if you cannot hold the attention of the interview panel or person, you have lost that interview. You can't lose the room and get the job. You're not going to. You're not going to. Unless they are desperate. If they are desperate and there's nothing else and you're okay, I guess. You understand? And you never want to be hired on the merit. If you're watching me, you never want to be hired on the merit of, okay, I guess we'll just settle, because that's how they're going to treat you. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for a very long time. When you settle for something that you didn't want, you don't treat it well in the beginning. Not saying that you hurt people or whatever, but it's just like, that's not what I needed. And then now you know that the person's going to have to deal with certain things that you didn't want them to have to deal with. I don't like hiring people like that, because it's a reflection on me that I didn't care enough about who I was hiring for to make sure I got the right person. So you're not going to pass me. And I know I'm unique, but I'm not that unique. There's a lot of people like me. You're not, if your energy does not make the room comfortable or confident, you're not going to get hired. So the way you communicate has to be on a certain frequency, and it has to have a certain rhythm. Because if it doesn't, and everybody is just monotone or flat, and or no, it, or you can feel it if you're paying attention. But if you're not paying attention and you are one of those people who like to hear themselves talk, that is not okay on an interview. You have to find a time where you stop it. Even when I'm doing videos, there's a time where I'm like, okay, I've been talking way too long. I need to stop. You understand? You have to know when people are going to be tired of hearing you, especially if that's only one question. Does that make sense? So it's just like, that's one. Now the other half of it is, I'm going to call the other half of it is, don't talk too little. Don't talk too little. Don't talk too little and then throw it up in the air and everybody's looking at it like, okay, so I guess we're done. That's what you mean. You can't talk too little either. If you talk too little, we can't, again, make a judgment call on can you do the work? Can't you do the work? Are you a good fit? Are you not a good fit? You have to understand, your resume gets you an interview. You are the one that gets yourself the job. You have to show up in that interview. Not in this video, but I'm going to give you tips on what you need to do when you come for, what you need to have in your arsenal when you come for an interview. That's going to be the next video right after this one. Stay up, stay blessed. Deuces, and we're out.